Okay, well, welcome everyone to the public meeting of the Town of Conception Bay South for October 18th. And we start as always with our land acknowledgement. The Town of Conception Bay South would like to respectfully acknowledge the territory in which we gather as the ancestral homelands of the Beothuk and the island of Newfoundland as the ancestral homelands of the Mi'kmaq and Beothuk. We also respectfully acknowledge Labrador as the traditional ancestral homelands of the Innu of Nitassinan, the Inuit of Nunatsiavut, and the Inuit of Nunatuavut. We strive for respectful partnerships with all the peoples of the province as we search for collective healing and true reconciliation and honor this beautiful land together. Now we'll move along to the adoption of agenda and minutes, adoption of the meeting agenda for tonight. Moved by Councillor Hillier, seconded by Councillor Connors. Adoption of the meeting minutes from October 4th. Moved by Councillor Butler, seconded by Councillor Moores. All in favor? Contrary minded? Carried. Business arising from the previous minutes will come up in this meeting and meetings going forward. So first we start with visitors' presentations and petitions, and we have a proclamation this evening on the Canadian Down Syndrome Week. And I'm going to call upon Councillor Melissa Hardy to bring forward that proclamation. And I believe, Councillor Hardy, we have some guests.
Yes, Mayor Bent, we do. We have my niece, Kate Clary, but she's a little bit shy, so she may come in a moment. So I'll just go ahead and I'll read the proclamation from here. Whereas Canada has a diverse and dynamic population rich in strengths, resources, and abilities, whereas the successful and productive future of all Canadians is intimately linked to our commitment to ensure that all of our citizens have the opportunity to reach their full potential. Whereas fellow Canadians with Down syndrome and their families are members of our communities and are deeply committed to ensuring that all individuals have the opportunity to grow, develop, and succeed. Whereas Canadian Down Syndrome Week is a week of educational programming directing to ensure all individuals with Down syndrome live complete and fulfilling lives with public knowledge, awareness, and appreciation of the strengths and contributions of individuals with Down syndrome. Now, therefore, I, Melissa Hardy, Councillor in the Town of Conception Bay South, do hereby proclaim October 23rd to the 29th, 2022 as Canadian Down Syndrome Week in the Town of Conception Bay South, and encourage all residents to become educated about Down syndrome, to recognize the abilities of children, youth, and adults who have Down syndrome, and to participate in activities during the week in recognition thereof.
Thank you, Councillor Hardy. Moving along, Child Abuse Prevention Month. We have a proclamation. Whereas children are the foundation for a prosperous and innovative society, and the foundation for a child's growth and development is established when the community takes responsibility for creating healthy environments where our children can thrive. And whereas all children deserve to have a safe, stable, nurturing home and community to foster their healthy growth and development, whereas child abuse and neglect is an important societal concern that may affect the long-term health and well-being of not only children, but also the adults they become. And whereas child abuse and neglect impacts our entire society and our society's future, whereas child abuse prevention is shared responsibility and finding solutions requires the involvement and collaboration of citizens, organizations, and government entities, whereas this month we emphasize the importance of understanding the devastating problem of child abuse and neglect and commit to learn more about the behavioral and physical signs of possible abuse. Therefore, I, Darren Bent, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2022 to be Child Abuse Prevention Month in the Town of Conception Bay South, and urge all citizens to work together to help reduce child abuse and neglect significantly in the years to come. Okay, next we're going to move on to the new business portion of the meeting, and we'll start this evening with Deputy Mayor Andrea Goss.
Thank you, Mayor Bent. So I'm going to bring forward couple of things here this evening. First thing is Budget 2023. The Town of Conception Bay South is planning for Budget 2023, and we are looking to our residents to assist us in the decision-making process and help us shape the 2023 budget. Building a budget is no easy task. It requires balancing affordability for taxpayers while delivering the level of services that our residents expect. On this coming Sunday, October 23rd, Please join us, your town council members, at the Legion in Kelligrews from 2 o'clock till 4 o'clock p.m. Come out and talk in an informal one-on-one setting and give us your feedback for budget 2023. If you cannot make it to the public consultation, you can still have your say. Go to the town's website, and right on the homepage is a link to take you to our interactive survey tool. This budget tool is very user-friendly, and it will give our residents the opportunity to participate in the budget process and have a voice. Next item I want to bring forward is it references last week, because last week was Fire Safety Week in Conception Bay South. And each year there's a contest in the elementary schools where someone gets selected to be fire chief for a day. Last Thursday, October 13th, Riley Pinhorn, a six-year-old student at Admiral's Academy, was our 2022 fire chief for a day. Riley spent the day with our firefighters, keeping the town of CBS safe. I had the opportunity to meet Riley here at the town hall where we signed the proclamation for Fire Safety Week and presented him with a gift bag of prizes. Riley was picked up at school in our fire truck and brought to the town hall. Well, first he had some time at town hall where he toured and hung out with the firefighters, and I'm told had quite an interesting time. From here, he went to lunch at McDonald's with some of our firefighters. And to wind up the day, in the afternoon, when he went back to school, they held a fire drill at Admiral's Academy, and Riley got to lead the drill. So it was a big day for Riley and a big day for our fire department, certainly a great opportunity to bring awareness to kids on fire safety. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Goss. Sounds like a great day. Congratulations to Riley, and riding the fire truck and lunch at McDonald's is a good day indeed. Councillor Tilley.
I wish I got a chance to ride in the fire truck. I did for many years, all the same. Just one, I've got a ton of items to bring up, but most of them will be brought up from the Public Works Committee meeting, but I just want to let residents know that this coming Saturday, October 22nd, is the final day for our bulk garbage drop off for the calendar year. So I strongly encourage anyone who has any waste that you want to get rid of before the snow falls, now is the time to do it. On Saturday, it's up just past Kent on the Gateway Drive. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tilley. Councillor Hillier.
Mr. Worship, very quickly, as I guess we're all aware, yesterday morning, the weather was brutal around Conception Bay South, right? Torrential rain, tropical rain coming down sideways. Anybody that was out between 7 and 8, there's no doubt they got water down the back of their necks. So it was no surprise about 7:45, I got a phone call. Dad, can you take Faye to school? Now, of course, as some of you know, Faye is my granddaughter, and she's in kindergarten at Topsail Elementary. So sure, I'll take Faye to school. I got soaking wet trying to get her in the car. The wipers could just barely keep ahead of the rain. And when I got to Topsail Elementary, I almost ran into Mr. DeVoe because I couldn't see him in the rain. But he was out in his rain gear with his stop sign, directing traffic. And there was probably another half dozen teachers out taking Faye and her friends out of their vehicles and making sure they got safely to school. So I know I recognized teachers in another respect last week, but I'd certainly like to thank all those teachers at Topsail Elementary yesterday morning, and certainly all the schools within our jurisdiction where teachers go out of their way outside their teaching load to make sure our kids are safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hillier. Yes, Mr. DeVoe has been out in all kinds of weather over the years, and along with a whole bunch of other teachers.
I
So,
was
yes,
thinking maybe yesterday like Helly Hansen could probably be sponsoring their school.
they should, yeah. They should reach out for sure. Councillor Butler.
Thank you, Your Worship. This week of October 16th to 22nd, 2022 is BDC Small Business Week. a nationwide celebration of entrepreneurs and small enterprises and the positive impact they have on our communities. This year, the theme for Small Business Week is Dare to Do Things Differently, Power Up Your Growth. As in previous years, the town will be hosting their Bright Business Achievement Awards during Small Business Week, with a luncheon scheduled for Wednesday, October 19th, that's tomorrow, beginning at 12 noon at Manuel's River. We are pleased to have the continued support of award sponsors TD Canada Trust, BDC, and CBDC Cabot once again this year. As always, I would like to encourage you to support locally owned and operated businesses whenever possible. Buy local, grow local still rings true as a rallying call to make a tangible contribution to local businesses that support local jobs, services, and products. On behalf of council, I would like to offer congratulations to all nominees of the town's 11th Annual Bright Business Achievement Awards, and we look forward to announcing the winners tomorrow afternoon. And one other little note, some of you may have seen on our social media the improvements and upgrades to the squash facilities. And it looks pretty amazing. I haven't been there yet to see it myself, but I've heard a few things from some of the squash players that I've been speaking with. And this was a Canadian Inclusivity Squash Program grant program of $60,000 from the Government of Canada to facilitate squash court upgrades at the CBS Recreation Complex and to purchase 7 sports wheelchairs and 30 face shields. And of course, a lot of the stuff that goes on in the squash program in CBS, there's one name, of course, that comes up, and that's Eric Hart. And a lot of the stuff that does happen here, and a lot of the reason it keeps going, and especially the Inclusivity Squash program, which was started here, I think this is the 3rd year now. It was the first in Canada. And without Mr. Hart's unending dedicated work, and he's there all the time. He even misses other things because he wants to be there helping out everybody with teaching them how to play squash and making it all inclusive for everybody. So thanks, Government of Canada. Thanks, Mr. Hart. And I look forward to seeing the squash courts. I think next weekend coming, there's a tournament, so I might pop in. Thank you.
I think he actually missed his Volunteer of the Year award last year because he was coaching squash. Yeah, couldn't get a coach to cover him, so he stayed himself. Councillor Connors.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Want to just build on something or talk about the budget 23 consultation, as the deputy mayor has mentioned. Taxpayers and residents want to have input and want to know how their money is being spent to deliver the programs that we are mandated to deliver. And collectively as a council, we're trying to be more proactive in engagement, in resident community engagement. So we have created these 2 opportunities to engage and communicate with residents on budget 2023. This is what I'm saying to residents. This is your opportunity to have a say in the decision-making process and to help shape the next budget. So I'm encouraging all residents to come out and participate. It's your opportunity for residents to suggest how municipal spending should be prioritized. What changes would you suggest? What is the most important to you? Or just share your thoughts, ideas, and opinions. So I'm really hoping that sometimes we get a lot of feedback about lack of engagement. There are 2 opportunities now here for residents to engage and for budget 2023. So I'm hoping residents will take advantage of these opportunities to engage and communicate with councillors. I also wanted to speak a little bit on Councillor Butler's Small Business Week. And I just want to say thank you to all the small business owners in our town. Small businesses are the backbone of our economy and the heart of our community. We all know how important it is to support them and ensure they can keep growing. Our staff do an excellent job in supporting a small business in moving beyond the pandemic the past few years to now growth and expansion. Let's celebrate the incredible local businesses that make up our community, but more importantly, the incredible people behind them. They create jobs, they grow our community, And as a council, we do our little part by providing some of the resources they need to succeed. So thank you to all the small business owner and happy Small Business Week to everybody.
Thank you, Councillor Connors. Councillor Morse.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a couple things about upcoming events and stuff with the Recreation Department. Registration for the Fall Set 2 swimming lessons. Online registration for the swimming lessons will open for residents of Conception Bay South at 6:30 on Wednesday, November 2nd. And general registration will open on Friday, November 4th at 12:30. And these will be for the classes running from November 7th to December 23rd. Also, some of you have, I'm sure, have seen on social media that the pumpkin stroll is coming up again this year, which is always a big success. The CBS Community Garden is excited to hold the 4th annual pumpkin stroll on November 1st. From 5:30 to 6, there will be a sensory friendly time. From 6 to 8, the event is open for anyone to attend, and there is no charge for this event. Don't forget that on November 1st, between 7:30 a.m. and 2 p.m., you can drop off your pumpkin so that can be used for the pumpkin stroll at either of these locations. The CBS Gateway Garden until 5 p.m., Good to Grow CBS Rentals, former Rona location Kelligrews, Richard Parsons Field Seal Cove, and the Town Hall. And we hope to see everyone there. And I'd also like to echo what other councillors have said regarding Business Week and say, a huge thank you to all the business we have in CBS. We are very lucky to have the great business that we have and that are very successful. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Morse. Councillor Hardy.
Thank you, Mayor Bent. Just a couple of things to share this evening. Most of my fellow councillors already shared everything, so I don't repeat what everyone has already said. Just a reminder that the Seniors Halloween Social is on Monday, October 31st from 12 to 3. It's at the Royal Canadian Legion, and lunch will be served at 12 o'clock with musical entertainment to be followed up by Rodney Taylor. And there will be a prize for the most spectacular costume. So certainly encourage everyone to dress up this year. And one other thing, this coming Tuesday, October 25th, the Blood Donor Clinic at the Foxtrot Parish Hall, they're looking for donors. There's over 12,000 appointments that need to be filled across Canada by the end of this month. I'm certainly a donor, so I get these emails all the time. And on average, we're only seeing about 70 donors in CBS at this location. So they're trying to put a target out there for 100 donations. So certainly encourage all of the CBS residents, if you have time in your day, is in us to give. I know that's their slogan. So it's Tuesday, October 25th at the Foxtrot Parish Hall, and certainly trying to beat that target of 100. Thank you, Mayor Bent.
Thank you, Councillor Hardy. Councillor Barrett, welcome back.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. And before I dive in, I wanted to extend thank you to my council colleagues and staff and residents that have reached out. They're sent their well wishes as we welcome a new daughter into our family. And it was a bit funny 2 weeks ago, as all of us in this room know, we have a committee of the whole at 4:30, and so it was 4 o'clock, and I'm getting ready to go, and my wife looks at me and she's like, "Yeah, no, I don't think so. Like, we're gonna put the brakes on this right now." And she made the right call because 3:53 a.m. the next morning, we had our baby daughter Lorelai. So mom and baby are doing great. A little tired this evening, but it's all good. And again, thank you everybody for reaching out. It's truly appreciated. But because I did miss last week, I wanted to recap a few things that were discussed, and my apologies for repeating. But I needed to bring up the LAV 3 monument dedication ceremony was honestly probably the most moving type of ceremony like that I've been to. And I wasn't aware of the history or the significance and relevance of the LAV 3 and the passion that everybody there brought to that ceremony. Really painted a new light whenever I come on to town hall now, honestly. And so I just want to thank everybody for their service, and certainly have a new appreciation for all of those that serve. So thank you for performing your act of duty for us. As Mayor Bent mentioned a bit last time as well, we have officially passed, I guess, our first year of council, and Mayor Bent recapped a few important things, and I wanted to mention a couple that I'm particularly proud of as well. We opened our committee meeting minutes to the public. We reduced our speeds in school zones. Bit of an anecdote. I actually have a acquaintance that was pulled over, got a speeding ticket for going 63 at St. George's. So, if that was a 50, she'd probably be scotch-free, but 63 nowadays, you're going to get a fine. So there's that. We have a very positive relationship with our local MHAs, our local MP, our RNC detachment, and a number of other organizations. We've increased accessibility throughout the town, whether it's Topsail Beach or squash courts, as Councillor Butler mentioned, of course, with our partner organizations. Climate change, we've invested thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars to mitigate impacts of climate change, but we've also done work to be proactive, whether it's incorporate climate change considerations into our municipal plan or release our sustainability hub and try to engage education and awareness. And so this list could go on, but it was a great first year of learning and a lot of doing, and looking forward to the next 3 years. And I guess by way of concluding, trying to tie, I guess, two things together, as many of my council counterparts have mentioned, we are at budget 2023 season now, and certainly encourage folks to come out and engage in the opportunities we have for our 2023 budget. And one of the things that I wanted to put a plug out that I'm interested in for this budget is the potential funding for an economic development plan. Folks that have been following me for a while, and this council knows that this is something that economic development is a priority for us. And similar to what we're doing with our recreation plan, I really think this would help our community realize our economic vision and control our economic future. And so in alignment with celebrating Small Business Week here this week, I think this is a great opportunity for us to help support our business community and attract new business as well. So that's just something that I'd like to see this cycle and encourage other folks to get engaged and share their thoughts as well. So that's it for me. Thanks. Back to you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Barrett. I just want to start off this evening. I just want to bring up something that myself and other councillors have heard concerns about through most of the summer and into the fall, and that's some of the work that's being done and the delays to some of the road work that's being done. And I know that especially recently in the Neils Line area, there have been concerns, and it's been very frustrating for area residents. The detour has lasted longer than we anticipated, that we were told. And, of course, it affects people who bring their children to the two schools that are right in that close area there. They've had to detour and around that area, and it's been frustrating for them. And to be honest with you, it's been frustrating for council as well. I can say that the town did reach out to the contractor originally to have this work done as much as possible outside of school time. But that didn't happen. And there are a number of things that affect that. And I'm not making excuses, but I will point out some things that have had an effect. And of course, all businesses have been affected by staffing issues. Also, doing this type of work, when you put a shovel in the ground, you never know what you're going to find, and delays come when there are issues that need to be addressed at certain places. And I understand that over the last day or so, granulars are down. The sidewalk is almost complete now in there, and in a few days or in a week or so, we'll have a paved road with curb and gutter and a new sidewalk. Finally, for that area, making it safe for the young people who walk to school from that area. They don't have to squeeze onto the road any longer next to the building that's right on the corner there. They are able to walk safely on a sidewalk down to a crosswalk and cross over to the schools to another sidewalk. And that was the goal of this. And this is something that I've heard from residents in that area ever since I've been elected to council, that they wanted to get something safe done there. And that's what's happening. But that doesn't mean that people shouldn't be frustrated about the delays. I think we all are. And one of the things that I can say is that we don't get to stipulate time requirements for contractors. That's a provincial purview as they issue the contracts. And it's something that, to be honest with you, I think that we'd like to work on with the province so that we can have some controls in contracts going forward where we can have some of the things that we want in there, put in there and stipulated. And we'll reach out to them on that and work with them if we can. And it's not just Deals Line, it's all over town, in areas where we've seen delays. We've seen it on Mission Road and we saw it right down here on the CB Highway. Very frustrating, probably the most frustrating of all because it was right on the main thoroughfare. But anyway, these are the types of things that happen when you're doing work to upgrade and improve the areas around your town, around your community. And this year we have done an unprecedented amount of road work and so forth, and add water and sewer to that. We expect to hear more concerns than usual, but the delays are frustrating, and we'll do our best to work with the province to see if there's anything that we can do going forward on that issue. Just on another matter, where I go first, Bright Business Achievement Awards. I always look forward to this because it's the opportunity we get to say thank you to our business community for creating jobs right here at home, for creating activity in our community, for creating a buzz and an action within the community. And I can tell you, the work that's been done by some of these businesses over the past year or so, some of the new businesses that are going to get recognized tomorrow is just fantastic. And it just puts us up on a new level each year I go to this event. So it's really uplifting to see. And as Councillor Connors said, thank you to them for creating those jobs right here in Conception Bay South. And it's a pleasure to have them with us. The meeting on Sunday for the budget. Yes, absolutely. Come on out. Looking forward to seeing people out and hearing what you've got to say and hearing your concerns and listening to your questions, and not committing to providing all the answers then. But this council, just like we did last year for the first time ever in the town, we held a budget roundtable where we took residents' questions and we answered them as best we could around the table. We're going to do that again this year. So not only will we have the online resident response, and not only will we have the in-person resident response, we'll take all the questions and key issues and sit around this table and provide that through YouTube so that folks can watch and hear what's being said and hear what other people's questions were, and we'll provide that for the public again this year as well. So it's a great outreach, and I hope to see a good turnout on Sunday from 2 to 4, and that's at the Legion, I believe. Yeah, and we're gonna have some coffee and tea and maybe some sticky buns. Is that right? There we go. All right. So I got a few more people out just like that. And just another thing, I just want to note, I mentioned last council meeting that in a little bit in jest that we almost stole the growlers from St. John's, but the growlers were back. They came to practice here in Conception Bay South. We're happy to have them back again this year, and I'm sure they'll make that a regular stop on their training tour. So it's good to have the Newfoundland growlers back in CBS. Okay, that's it for me. Recommendations of the Planning and Development Committee. Let's get to work. Councillor Hillier.
Yes, Your Worship, these are recommendations brought forward from our planning and development meeting last week. Number 1, be it so resolved that in accordance with section 10.7 and 10.10 of the town's development regulations, application 2146 dated August 29th, 2022, to develop a 29.7 meter square boathouse and a 17.8 meter square wharf on the shoreline of Lawrence Pond, opposite 3032 Lawrence Pond Road West, be approved on condition that a permit be issued only upon substantial completion of the dwelling on the property at 3032 Lawrence Pond Road West. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Barrett, discussion?
Yes, Your Worship, this is just a situation where we've got a property owner above the road, then we have the road, then he wants to put a boathouse on the pond below the road. We're suggesting we'd like to make sure that the house is started before the boathouse.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
All right.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Number 6B5 Country Path Road. Be it so resolved that in accordance with section 15 of the town's fence regulations, application 2237 received on September 16th, 2022 for a front yard fence at 5 Country Path Road be approved on condition that the fence be a maximum height of 1.2 meters from the front boundary line to the front building line and a maximum height of 1.8 meters beyond the front building line of the dwelling located at 3 Country Path Road. So moved.
Seconder, Counselor Butler, discussion? All in favor? Contrary minded? Carried.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, I'll have to declare conflict on 6C, 30 Flats Road, under the conflict of interest guidelines. I have 2 family members who live in the immediate area.
Yes, your worship, number 6C, 30 Flats Road. Be it so resolved that the town engaged Stantec Consulting to undertake subsurface geotechnical investigation at 30 Flats Road in accordance with their July 27, 2022 proposal at a cost of $23,370.80 plus HST, funds to be drawn from the so noted account. So moved.
Seconder, Counselor Connors, discussion?
Yes, your worship, as you're aware, about a year ago, there was a landslide in that area down towards Manuels River. We had a report from the province indicating that there were some concerns about construction along that strip and near the edges of the bank. So we've taken it upon ourselves to employ Stantec to do a geotechnical study. They'll do some core samples and so on, just to give us an idea of what's there and whether or not or where we should, I guess, proceed in terms of development along that entire stretch.
Any further discussion? Counselor Barrett.
Yeah, I just want to say, I mean, not a week goes by that we as a council or staff don't talk about the impacts of climate change here. You know, I mean, this is having a really real impact on our community, and we're talking about budget now, and we need to be very prudent with the decisions we make with respect to climate change implications. And we have a property here that we're assessing, and based on research that we got from the province, and this is us doing our due diligence. I just think it's important for us to be cognizant of that.
Anyone else? Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's the proper steps to take. It's you know, we want to do what's right, but we want to do what's safe and for our residents, and we want to make sure that things proceed in the proper manner with all the information that we can get through this process, so that things can proceed if they can, not if they cannot. Deputy Mayor Goss.
Do we have a time frame for this work to be done, this investigation? So do we have that back? Because I had an inquiry yesterday.
Stantec have advised that they hope to have a drilling subcontractor in place within the next month or so, and that the reporting following the drilling would be reasonably quick.
Okay, thanks. That's great.
I think the issue there is that there are only 2 drill rigs in the province that are adequate for that job.
Okay, so once the drilling is done, the report should be fairly quick and good. We'll go from there. Any other discussion? All in favor?
All right,
Contrary minded? Carried.
number 6D, 1287, 1295 Conception Bay Highway. Wait for Councillor Tilley to get back in his seat. Just waiting on you, Councillor Tilley. I assume you were getting scored a ball game from our Director of Planning, right? Your Worship, number 6D, be it so resolved that the report and recommendations of Commissioner Jepchek respecting Municipal Plan Amendment number 24, 2022 and Development Regulations Amendment number 42, 2022 be accepted as presented. And further, be it resolved that under the authority of Section 23 of the Urban and Rural Planning Act 2000, the Town Council of Conception Bay South approves Conception Bay South Municipal Plan Amendment number 24, 2022, and Development Regulations Amendment number 42, 2022, as adopted. So moved.
Seconder. We have Secretary Councillor Connors, discussion?
Yes, Your Worship, this is a rezoning piece that we've been working our way through for some time at 1287, 1295 Conception Bay Highway in Upper Gullies. Councillor Yepchek convened public meeting some time ago and recommended that we approve this project, and at committee we've done exactly that. There were some concerns about stormwater management if indeed a development goes ahead there, but we've committed to our engineering department is committed to proper management of that as we go forward.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
All right.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Number 6E, be it so resolved that Conception Bay South fence regulations be amended by inserting new subsection 2K with the words flanking street lot line, means a street line abutting the lot other than the front lot line, such as the side of a corner lot or the portion of the lot line to the side of the property on a lot bounded by a curved street, but excludes the rear lot line and renumbering the subsequent subsections within section 2. And further, be it so resolved that Conception Bay South fence regulations be amended by replacing subsection 13B with the words unless otherwise approved by council, a fence on the flanking street lot line shall not exceed 1.5 meters in height. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Barrett, discussion?
Yes, Your Worship, just sort of cleaning up this policy, making it a little bit easier to work with. By flanking street line, we mean a house that's on a corner that has two street lines, or one that's on a big turn in a street that would have two flanking lines. Also, we're giving council some discretion in terms of making the decision there in terms of the height along that flanking line.
Anyone else have any discussion on this one? Will this mean we'll see less fence recommendations at council or more?
Fewer.
Fewer.
It mean-
All in favor?
All right.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Number 6F, Your Worship, be it so resolved that in accordance with section 13A and 13B of the town's fence regulation, application number 2116 received August 17, 2022 for a flanking street side yard fence at 20 Tillys Road South be approved on condition that the fence be a minimum of 1.3 meters setback from Maple Oak Place and a maximum of 1.8 meters high. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Barrett. Discussion?
I'm not sure if you figured it out yet, Your Worship, but this one is, the timing of this one was tied specifically to the timing of the previous one, because this is an exact example of what we're trying to clean up by fixing our policy a little bit.
Okay, so the answer so far is more. We'll see. All right, any further discussion? All in favor?
All right.
Contrary minded? Carried.
And Your Worship, final blanket report, and you can see some of the other things that we discussed there at our meeting last week. So be it resolved that decisions and recommendations made at the Planning and Development Committee meeting on October 11th, 2022 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Butler, discussion? All in favor?
All right.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Hillier. Recommendations of the Engineering and Public Works Committee. Chair, Councillor Tilly.
Thank you, Your Worship. We just have the blanket recommendation this evening from our committee meeting from last week. I guess, but before I get into that one, I want to take up a few things that are happening in the public works side of our town. Town is pleased to offer our curbside leaf collection program again this year. Our town will be offering a 4-week curbside leaf collection program from October 8th to November 12th. Please place leaves and grass clippings in paper yard waste bags at the curb or road edge on your scheduled curbside recycling day. There is no limit to the number of paper or yard waste bags placed at the curb for collection. Tie bundles of twigs and branches will also be taken as long as they are no larger than 2 feet by 2 feet by 1 feet with a branch diameter of 1 inch or less. The weight limit for bags of bundles is 40 pounds. And of course, there are many positive benefits for the curbside leaf collection program. Paper yard waste bags are set aside outside the automated carts, saving space in our carts for your true garbage. Benefits the environment by keeping the material out of our landfill, which extends its life, and a financial benefit by saving the tipping fees charged by Robin Hood Bay Waste Management Facility. Your yard waste actually can be bought to the Robin Hood Bay Compost Facility year round. You can check on the City of St. John's website for the hours of operation. And again, we stress leaves and plastic bags will not be collected as part of this program and can be placed in your waste cart on your next scheduled regular garbage collection. And as well, just to give an update on some of our road projects that are currently ongoing. Just give me 1 second. Gotta love it. Electronic. Okay, water sewer upgrades. Sidewalk is complete along Route 60, except for one small section on the corner of Pond Road. Surface course of pavement has been completed. Pond Road pipe installation work is ongoing. And unfortunately, it's I guess it's a good complaint. We had that much work on the go this year that we're actually not going to probably get a chance to finish all of our 2022 projects. And unfortunately, Cedar Crest Place off of Millbite Road, this water and sewer project will not be starting until the spring of 2023. Phase 48 of water and sewer, Glebe Road has been paved. Work on Mission Road is continuing. Pine Tree Road and Frown Pond Road, the pipe installation is currently ongoing. Our 2022 streets and sidewalks upgrades. As you said before earlier, Mayor Neil's line concrete work is ongoing and grinders this weekend with the hopes of paving to follow early next. Ladru's Road has been partially paved and I believe it may have been completely paved today on a shore. I was just up looking at it yesterday. Dunster Road has been paved and some reinstatement work is currently ongoing there as well. Topsa Road sidewalk is ongoing. And of course, all other reinstatements that I mentioned before, shouldering, driveways and landscaping will continue over the next little while. Our phase 2 of our Steady Water Brook culvert upgrades. The Pandora Drive culvert reinstatement is ongoing, and the Haggis culvert schedule, which is currently under review, will likely not be starting until the spring of 2023. That being said, before I say anything else, I have declared a conflict in the blanket recommendation because I just realized that there's one item that was discussed. I have a family member who is part of the conflict of interest who lives adjacent to that area. So I'll have to declare conflict. And Councillor Hardy, if you can read the recommendation, thank you.
Be it so resolved that the recommendation decisions of the Engineering and Public Works Committee held on October 11th, 2022 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Hillier, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried. Thank you, Councillors Hardy and Tilly. Next, we have recommendations of Recreation and Leisure Services Committee Chair, Councillor Shelley Moores.
Thank you, Mayor. We just have a blanket statement for tonight. I think Deputy Mayor, you have to.
Yeah, I have to declare conflict on one of the items under the blanket recommendation. One of the items there pertaining to Danic Place Playground. Our family business has done some work there.
Okay, and also I've declared a conflict on the Recreation and Culture Master Plan, so I'll step away. And so in my place, I'll call upon Councillor Tilly to lead the way.
Okay, so just, I do want to say something about the Danic Place Playground. So we've had a lot of people reach out, a lot of residents reach out over concerns with this playground. And I can say that town staff have went down and visited the playground. Garbage has been cleaned up. They've, took a look to see what graffiti is there and all that's been sorted. There was some structures that were damaged that have been fixed, and, there are other issues that obviously we are taking very seriously. But with regards to what can be done about the playground right now, we're waiting for the recreation master plan, which we should have in the coming days. So as soon as we get that, then we can make further decisions regarding the playground. One other thing I did want to mention is the Walking for Wellness Boil Up, which is taking place on October 26th at 10:30, which is starting at the gazebo along Manuel's River for all the regular participants, which from what I hear is a great time had by everyone. So encourage everyone to get out and participate in that. Be it so resolved that the recommendations and decisions of the Recreation and Leisure Services Committee meeting of October 11th, 2022 be accepted as presented. So moved.
You have a seconder? All those in favor? Contrary? Motion's carried.
And I will just say there's a lot of important dates listed there. So just take a minute to read through all the important dates of things that we have coming up. It's a very busy couple months. Thank you, Councillor Tilly.
Okay, thank you. Recommendations of Financial and Administrative Services Committee, Deputy Mayor Andrea Goss.
Thank you, Mayor Bent. So the recommendations of Financial and Administrative Services as per our meeting on October the 11th. Our first item is accounts payable checks. Be it so resolved that approval be given to pay accounts payable checks totaling $245,765.51 as per the attached report. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Butler. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Next, item 9B is our manual checks. And be it so resolved that approval be given to ratify the payment of manual checks totaling $23,345.91. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Hardy. Discussion? All in favor? Contrary minded? Carried.
And the next item 9C is be it so is the direct payments register. Be it so resolved that approval be given to ratify the payment of direct payments totaling $364,797.91. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Tilly. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
9D is our capital invoice approval. Be it so resolved that approval be given to pay capital invoices totaling $212,478.45 as per the attached report. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Hardy. Discussion?
This is our capital invoice approval. And as you can see, it's ongoing projects. It's kind of a small one. Things are getting to the end. It's mostly engineering there. Payment for a pool roof and we're getting to the community park has a payment there as well, as we're getting to the end of that.
That's good. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Next, item 9E is tax and other receivable adjustments. Be it so resolved that approval be given to tax and other receivable accounts as follows. Actually, this request was denied. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Barrett. Discussion?
This was a request that came in, and with the information that we received, it didn't fit within the parameters of what we would usually approve. So we denied the request.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Contrary minded? Carried.
Next, item 9F, Canada Community Building Fund, gas tax, additional project applications. Be it so resolved that approval be given to submit the following capital investment plan applications for the 2019 to the 2024 gas tax funding to the Gas Tax Secretariat, Department of Municipal and Provincial Affairs. Project description, estimated costs, 2023 street paving, 1.5 million, sidewalks, 500,000, the wastewater treatment plant roof replacement, 400,000, with total cost of 2,400,000. So moved.
Seconder. Counselor Barrett. Discussion?
This was from, came from an application that staff had submitted some time ago. They're always making applications. You never know when you keep putting them in and hoping that something comes back, and it came back with an approval. So then we had to decide how we would like to allocate those funds, and we have to submit our allocation to Department of Municipal and Provincial Affairs for final approval.
So we've already got this money. Basically, we just got to tell them how we want to divvy it up and get the rubber
Exactly.
stamp to
Yes.
go forward. And great thing here, of course, is this would be an official commitment to sidewalk work again next year. And I believe that would be maybe the 6th straight year we've done sidewalk work, which is fantastic. And of course, we've aimed to make things safer in our school zones first, and we're looking beyond that again this year. Yes, Councillor Barrett.
Yeah, I just wanted to again reiterate what you said, Mayor Bent. I think this is great news. And with respect to sidewalks, council chose these initiatives in part because sidewalks, for example, are eligible for this program, and with our operational funding through 2023, we have some more flexibility to reallocate that $500,000 elsewhere. So I think that's a huge win, and it allows us to be a bit more flexible with our 2023 budget.
Yeah, and it certainly allows us to keep up with some of the extra costs we've seen this year that we have to make up for as well. So, but yeah, it's great. Any further discussion? All in favor? Contrary minded? Carried.
Our next item, 9G, is open air fire regulations. Be it so resolved that the open air fire regulations be adopted as presented. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Hillier, discussion.
These are some amendments to the regulations in light of the forest fires this past season. I was just bringing more clarification. So it's clear, if you look at these, it shows what means low, moderate, high, very high, extreme conditions. It just brings some more clarity because a lot of people may have been a little bit confused during the forest fires. Always find that when something happens, then we find a way to make things clear moving forward in the event that, well, hopefully never again, but hey, you got to get prepared for it.
No, absolutely. And of course, people were anxious during the forest fires. And then, of course, people were also anxious to get back to burning in their backyard again when that was
Exactly.
available. So anything we can do to help make that clearer for the residents, we absolutely good. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Next item, 9H, policy code of conduct of council. Be it so resolved that code of conduct of council be adopted as presented. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Tilly, discussion.
New regulations came down from the provincial government this past fall, actually September, I believe. And these are just amendments to our town regulations to align with the provincial regulays.
Any further discussion?
Yes, your worship. While I will accept these policies, I mean, I had read in depth, I guess the whole bill regarding conflict of interest more than anything. And I personally think that it puts a bigger squeeze on us as municipal officials when it comes to what we are perceived or perceive as being in conflict of interest, because right now it goes outside the realm of immediate family, which is what we've always been accustomed to for years. Right now, it even makes reference to it if we have a close personal relationship with an individual in CBS. That could be a best friend, it could be aunt or an uncle or a niece or a nephew. And in my case, that's extensive. Now, I could probably spend more time in the back room, while we're trying to discuss town issues. And it's unfortunate, but I mean, I know that conflict of interest has to play a part in municipal conduct, but I guess we'll have to live with it.
Any further discussion? Okay,
Your worship, I just, going back to Councillor Tilly's concern with the conflict of interest piece, I find it disruptive in terms of people having to get out all the time and more people being in a conflict of interest. And it's not only here at council level, it's also at our committee level, where we've only got 3 people on a committee. So if someone has to step out, all of a sudden you've only got 2/3 of your committee. You're losing a voice that can, help you make the best decisions and so on. So it's just disruptive. I think that's and I don't think it's helping us make the best decisions.
yeah, there's no doubt there's disruption to it. And I always feel the more voices around the table, the better the decision you get at the end of the day. And what goes to limit that is unfortunate. And of course, there are situations where there are obvious conflicts of interest. The scope of conflict of interest legislation, which is a different document, is widespread and takes in a lot of things. It leaves a lot of gray area. And of course, we were kind of hoping there'd be less gray area. And I think there's maybe more. But anyway, I also think it's important that as members of council that we abide by a code of conduct, and we conduct ourselves in the best interest of the community as required. And this procedure here today is to bring our town code in line with the new provincial code, and that's what we're doing. And it's important to do that as well, because we just talked about ambiguity and in the fire regulations. We want to make sure that there isn't any in the code of conduct as well. But there's lots to be said about it. And one of the things that has happened as well is that all councillors, and I think senior staff as well, have to undergo mandatory code of conduct training over the next little while. I've signed up for a couple sessions myself. I think there's 2 parts to it, and you can do it in person or online. And it's really good. In your concern, Councillor Hillier, I fear for the operations of some of the smaller communities out there that we're the second largest community in the province. It probably affects us less, even though we notice it, than it would a lot of other places that are smaller. So it'll be in a learning curve that's probably in a 90-degree angle for some. But here we are. And hopefully at the end of the day, it all works to serve the residents better. Hopefully. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Next item, in keeping with the last, 9J, or JI, sorry, policy code of conduct for municipal officials. Be it so resolved that the code of conduct for municipal officials be adopted as presented. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Moores. Discussion.
This is also in relationship to new provincial regulations, and we are just amending our regulations to align.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
So our next item, 9J, Personnel Director of Recreational and Leisure Services. Be it so resolved that approval be given to appoint Nick Miller as Director of Recreation and Leisure Services per the terms of the employment contract. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Hillier. Discussion.
Well, after some months and some going through an extensive recruitment process, we're bringing forward the decision of council for a new Director of Recreational Leisure Services. This person comes highly recommended. an extensive resume, and we certainly look forward to having him start in Recreation Leisure Services and, having that leadership in that department again and bringing us forward.
Any further discussion?
Yes, Your Worship, I'd like to take the opportunity to congratulate Mr. Miller on his appointment to the Department of Parks and Recreation Leisure Services. That's one big department that I'm sure he'll be busy and looking forward to all the ideas that he wants to bring to that he has to bring to the table. As well, I'd like to take the opportunity that we had a staff member who was serving as an interim director of recreation, and she done a fine job. So thank you to you, Liz, and you can go back to your old job now.
Yeah, just in time for the budget, Liz. So out of the pot and into the fire, I guess. Hey, yeah, no, it's great to have somebody back at the helm in that department. It's a big department here in the town, and we look forward to this new era, I guess, in recreation and leisure services for the town of Conception Bay South. And when we do this and we say welcome aboard to Mr. Miller, I can't help but think of the previous tenant in that office, Dave Thibault, and of course, thank him for all his services again over the number of years. But here we turn the page and we move forward in another direction, and look forward to getting things back on full steam ahead with all the programs in recreation. And thank all those in the recreation department who have done yeoman service over the past few months to make sure that everything that we want to do gets done during that interim period of time. And thankfully, it didn't take too long. Any further discussion? So all in- Yep.
I guess to reiterate some of the things you guys have said is that we know that we had a great person in place for a lengthy time and who did a great job for us, and obviously left a big hole when he left. We didn't go out looking for someone to replace this person to do the same job that this person was doing. We looked for the best person for this position going forward, and we think we've found that person, and we look forward to moving forward in recreation.
Anyone else? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried. Welcome aboard, Mr. Miller.
And our last item, 9K, the Financial Administrative Services Department update. Be it so resolved that the decisions and recommendations of the Financial and Administrative Services Committee be adopted as presented. So moved.
Seconder? Councillor Hardy, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Recommendations of the Economic Development and Tourism Committee Chair, Councillor Butler.
There was no committee meeting last week,
I wanted you to say it out loud, that's
but,
all. But I thought
but
you
you
might have
already
something
heard all
to say.
about
though.
the Bright Business Awards that we're going to have tomorrow. So I look forward to tomorrow and to councillors presenting to the winners. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Butler. So other committee reports. Does anyone have anything to bring to the table from the other committees that you sit on behalf of council?
Yes, Your Worship, I have one item to bring from the naming committee. It has to do with a request for a street name for a subdivision which is under construction at 1651 Conception Bay Highway. A name for a street was requested from the developer. Normally, so our process is that we check with the St. John Regional Fire Department and our own local fire department with regards to the name of the street for response purposes, and both departments are happy with the name of the street or street off the subdivision that's been requested by the developer. So it be so resolved that the street within the subdivision under construction at 1651 Conception Bay Highway be named Next Door Place. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Moores. Any discussion?
Next door.
Okay, Next Door, please. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried. Any further committees from
Yeah,
councillors?
I got one more. East Regional Service Board. I attended their meeting a couple of weeks ago, and unfortunately, that I guess the East Regional Service Board have made a decision to, I guess, to raise the the cost of dumping garbage in Robin Hood Bay. So again, I encourage and implore people to think before you toss something out. If it can be recyclable, recycling is a heck of a lot cheaper than our waste by $50 or $60 a ton. So we strongly encourage people to recycle when and where possible, and hopefully keep that cost down. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tilly. Anyone else?
I have one, your worship. The Parks Commission met on September 21st, 2022, and that was a really useful meeting. We're getting near the end of the year. We had a busy summer season, all the environmental entities of the town. There were some lessons learned that was really important, and I just want to highlight a couple of quick things. Well, first of all, the 2570 area is getting cleaned up, so that's really useful. That's really great to see. And there's some raised flower beds there that the garden committee has been working on, which is excellent. And a couple other quick things. We actually have the town partnered with Deloitte, and they have a day of volunteering. And so Deloitte is actually sending some of their employees on Friday to work with some of our parks to clean up certain, help plant trees and clean up some areas of our town, which is super great. And the Parks Commission AGM will be held on Tuesday, November 22nd at 7 p.m. I'm sure we will bring that up again before that date comes, but just wanted to put that on the books now. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Barrett. Last chance going for anyone else that has.
I myself and Deputy Mayor Goss attended a meeting, Zoom meeting of the Northeast Avalon Joint Councils. It was similar as other meetings. The RCMP do a presentation and the RNC do a presentation, and then we get an update from the municipalities, Newfoundland Labrador Area Director Tina Neary. The chair of the Eastern Regional Services or Service Board also presented at that and gave the good news that they were increasing cost, they are increasing fees to us, I guess, for garbage collection. So I highly recommend what Councillor Tilly suggested of reducing our fees, dumping or tipping fees. We did discuss at that meeting the problem that a lot of towns are having with the conflict of interest, and there was a discussion that went on there. That I have a feeling that at the municipalities meeting in November, M&L meeting in November, that will be a topic of discussion. So I think Mayor, you were attending that, and anyone else that would be attending, I think we should engage in those discussions to see what other municipalities are doing about it. One municipality said it basically take a vote on every single motion that comes forward to see who's in conflict. So.
Yes, absolutely. Councillor Connors, myself, and I believe Councillor Tilly will be attending the Municipalities Newfoundland and Labrador Annual Conference in Gander from the 2nd to the 5th of November. Is there anyone else that has anything they want to add before we finish up? I just want to say that we're back here again on November the 1st. So I wish everyone a happy and safe Halloween, and expect to see lots of candy around the council table on November the 1st. So I suppose it'll be all the stuff that you don't want to eat yourself, but that's all right. We'll take it. Anyway, thank you very much. Can I ask for a motion for adjournment? Councillor Butler, seconder. Councillor Moores. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.